Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for watching today. Today I am in a Star Wars mood because yesterday we finally had the release of the new Disney Plus Star Wars series, Andor. And I have been looking forward to this show for such a long time, ever since it was announced. We learned actually 4 years ago that they were going to be making this show for Disney Plus, and it finally came to fruition. And they dropped 3 episodes on the first day, so nearly, I think it was like an hour and a half of content for us. And it was actually some really cool episodes, a little bit slower getting into it, but I think it's going to be going into some pretty interesting territory, and I just got super excited. So I wanted to make a video talking about my thoughts about the new Andor show, and also show up some really cool Cassian Andor Funko Pops. Now, of course, we all met Cassian Andor back in Rogue One, a Star Wars story that came out in 2016, and that was really the first kind of standalone story that Star Wars had done. And coming off of the hype of Force Awakens, I think people were just super excited for another Star Wars story. But the fact that this one was so unique and so different from any other Star Wars movie that we have gotten before, I think it just opened up a whole nother world of possibilities, that people want to see more Star Wars stuff that is not just the Skywalkers or not just this new trilogy. They want to see these stories of different people from all across the galaxy. And so they brought that forward with this Andor show. And I'm excited for other shows. Of course, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi, we got The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. We're getting other shows like The Acolyte and also Skeleton Crew that's coming. We have the Ahsoka show. So we have so much Star Wars goodness. And I think it all really started with Rogue One, letting us see that people just want to see these new and interesting characters. So as far as my thoughts on the first 3 episodes of Andor, I thought it was really well done. It's really at movie level quality. The effects are fantastic. The acting is fantastic. Even from like some of the like officers, not quite officers, I don't quite know what sort of capacity they are, but that one guy who's really going after the murders that were committed in the show. I won't want to get too deep into spoilers, but even him playing necessarily a little bit cartoony, but a little bit serious, I think that still acted well. So I think all over the place, this is fantastic, and I like how it's kind of getting a little bit, just small glimpses into Cassian's past, and then where he is at that moment. Now remember, we are 5 years prior to the events of Rogue One. So Season 1 and Season 2 is going to be leading up to that point. So he is well off of the person he ends up becoming as Captain Cassian Andor. So I'm really excited for the ride that we're going to be having with this show. And so as far as Funko Pops to look at, we have gotten our first Andor Pop for the show already. That came out during San Diego Comic-Con. So I have the shared exclusive Cassian Andor, and I think this is a great looking pop. Of course, he does look maybe a little bit different than he does in the other pops, because the other pops actually are different mold and a little bit different style, but this one has lots of great detail, and he does look awesome, especially with the beard and his hair and everything. I like more detail that he has with that kind of being a little bit more grizzled with where he is currently. And this is probably more of a look that we saw in episodes 1 or maybe even episode 2, kind of earlier on in the show. But I really do like the detail with his coat and everything, how he's holding on to his belt as well. I mentioned the hair and the beard. I think that all looks great. Now, this is not the only pop that's going to be coming out from Andor. Every single Star Wars movie and show has probably dozens of pops that end up getting released. But we only have one other one that's been announced so far, and that one is B2 Emo, which is the new droid that we saw in the first couple episodes of Andor. And he was definitely really funny, the way he communicates, the way he needs to constantly be charged. I think he's going to be a fun little sidekick for Andor. Hopefully we continue to see him throughout the show. But this is definitely a fun pop. I'm looking forward to pick it up at New York Comic Con to pair it with Andor. But of course, we first got introduced to Cassian Andor during Rogue One, and I really loved his character in that, and I really did want to see more from him. Of course, we were not going to get a sequel to the movie at all, but a prequel is definitely intact, so that makes me very happy they're doing the show. But when the movie came out, of course, for Rogue One, we had to get some pops, and so we actually have a couple different figures from the movie. And the first one that we picked up, I want to say we picked up this one like 4, 5, 6 months ago, a while ago, but this is Captain Cassian Andor from Rogue One. Now this is the common, I believe it is vaulted. When I last checked, which was like a couple months ago actually, this one wasn't very valuable at all. I think it was only valued at like $9 or $10. So if you are wanting to grab this one, definitely make sure you jump on it right now, because I'm sure the value is going to go up. Even if it only goes up to like $20 or $30, that's still a substantial rise. So whether you're trying to maybe capitalize on that for yourself, or you just want to make sure you get in before it gets too expensive, this is definitely a great time. And I really like this pop, especially he has the blaster in his hand and the heavier coat that he has on. I think this is probably from the part of the movie where they're going out and they're trying to spy on Galen Erso, and Cassian actually has the directive to go ahead and take him out, but he chooses not to do so. But still a pretty cool looking figure, and he has like his beard being a little bit different, of course, than the newer pop, where he kind of has that more of that 5 o'clock shadow and everything, and his hair is not quite as dark as it is in the newer pop too, so some key differences between them. But then they also released a second Captain Cassian Andor pop for Rogue One, and it was exclusive over to Target, and so this is another Captain Cassian Andor. So he's just in a different outfit, which I also like this one a whole lot as well. It is pretty cool, and he also does have a blaster in his hand, actually the same blaster, but he is a different outfit on, where he has his brown jacket that he's wearing more like in the beginning where you meet him, and then also when he's on his ship when they first take off on their missions. Now, of course, I'm going to be expecting new pops to be announced very soon, maybe as early as tomorrow or today, sometime next week. Definitely before next week's episode comes out, we're going to get announcements of some pops. Maybe Bix is going to be one, maybe like a common B2 emo, maybe some different like officers and stuff like that who could be a part of that new pop line. I know Saw Gerrera is going to be coming in the show as well. We saw in the trailers maybe some other characters could pop up as a surprise, so we'll get pops down the line. I expect dozens of pops to come out for Andor, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to announce. So there's our look at all of the Cassian Andor Funko Pops that have been announced, and a little bit of thoughts about the new show Andor. Like I said, super excited for the rest of this. I was really intrigued in the fact they're doing 12 episode season, and then they're coming back for season 2 in a couple years. I cannot wait to see the rest of these as a huge Rogue One fan. One of my favorite Star Wars movies. I think it's number like 4 or 5, something like that. It's pretty high for me, which is pretty cool to see. Now we're getting some more love for Rogue One. We recently got to see Rogue One in IMAX a few weeks ago. It got re-released in theaters, and it was absolutely amazing seeing the movie. That movie is so good. So if you have not watched Rogue One yet, or have not watched in a while, make sure you watch it. And then of course, make sure you watch Andor, because I think it's going to be a really cool show. But now I do want to hear from you guys. What do you think so far about the Andor series? Do you like it? Have you checked it out? And do you have any of these pops in your collection? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And of course, if you guys have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also leave a like on the video. And of course, hit that bell to be notified whenever we have new videos drop. And thank you guys so much for watching today. And as always, we'll see you again real soon.